Buenas gente, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a un nuevo directo. Hoy estamos con el lanzamiento de la misión de carga de la Estación Espacial CRS-25 por parte de SpaceX y la NASA. Como ven, ya estamos a tiempo, unos 9 minutos. El Falcon 9 está pronto para ser lanzado desde la plataforma SLC-39A en el Centro Espacial Kennedy en Florida, Estados Unidos. Y el lanzamiento está programado para las 00 y 44 hora universal, y está esperado que se acople a la estación espacial el día sábado a las 15:20 horario universal, si no mal recuerdo, pero era a las 15:30, 15:20 más o menos, era el horario de que está programado el acoplamiento de dicha cápsula a la estación espacial.
We as an organization, NASA, we are thinking about going farther than we've ever been before.
That's exactly what it is we are proposing this as a long-term space travel waste management system. Because plastic, it's lightweight, it's cost-effective, it's not going anywhere, and we don't want a pollution problem like we've had on Earth.
Yeah, perfect. So I know that this is the first launch for both of you. Why don't we take a look around really quick? So there it is on the launch pad, Falcon 9 and Dragon. Inside Dragon is your experiment. How are you guys feeling?
It is surreal. It feels like a dream, and it's about to be a dream come true, not just for myself and Claire, but for our whole team, for students at Stanford who also have an experiment going up, and for all the students who assisted us in our citizen science.
Perfect. Guys, I cannot wait to see what you discover. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the launch.
Thank you so much.
And we have another student experiment on board Dragon today. These guys are in college, but we have a high schooler here. You see Celine Coquelar. She won the annual Genes in Space research competition by designing a new method of detecting water contaminants. If successful, her work could be used to test water quality both in space and also remote parts of the Earth. Genes in Space is made possible through Boeing, a startup called Mini PCR that makes equipment for biology research, and the ISS National Lab. All right, we're just under 6 minutes till, 6:56. I am having a hard time, guys, but we're close to terminal count, so let's bring back Shiva live from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, and Daryl here on Florida's Space Coast to walk us through the final moments of the countdown. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Megan. Now, the SpaceX team is not working any significant issues with both Falcon or Dragon at the moment, and the weather.
Ahí estamos viendo el Falcon 9 que está siendo cargado de combustible desde hace varios minutos. Ahí lo vemos mejor. Vemos que el puente de acceso a la cápsula ha sido retraído. Y bueno, se aproxima el lanzamiento, estamos a 6 minutos.
Liquid oxygen loading is underway on both the stages. That'll complete at about T-2 minutes to launch. At this point, we're also loading helium gas into both the stages. Falcon 9 uses that helium as a pressurant to backfill the propellant tanks as we consume that liquid oxygen and RP1 by the Merlin engines during ascent. Helium load began before the broadcast went live. And
when that flow of super chilled liquid oxygen hits the prop system. Now, Dragon began its startup sequence at T-minus 35 minutes when it coordinated timing with the Falcon 9. Dragon now currently undergoing vehicle health checks, with the next big step just before liftoff when the cargo spacecraft transitions to internal battery power.
Dragon is in terminal count.
And we just heard that call out for Dragon being in terminal count.
Bueno, estamos a menos de 5 minutos para el lanzamiento. En breves instantes la torre de lanzamiento se retraerá para dejarle espacio al Falcon 9 para su despegue.
And then shortly after that, the whole structure will pull away from Falcon 9. Now, in these last few minutes, Falcon 9 is performing a set of final health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems in preparation for liftoff just about 4 minutes away from now. We're also going to continue to hear call-outs throughout that the engines are sufficiently chilled in as we get closer to liftoff. And on our screen right there, you can see those clamp arms beginning to open around the second stage, in between some of that cooling of the Florida air around
Vale,
the second
estamos
stage.
a menos de 4 minutos, exactamente a 3 minutos con 50 segundos. Recuerden que en tiempo menos 2 minutos pasamos pantalla completa. Y bueno, se aproxima el lanzamiento.
There you can start to see motion of the transporter erector away. It'll recline a bit before we step further into the liftoff.
And coming up in just about a minute, Shiva, checkouts of the second stage thrust vector control actuators. They are underway. This is often referred to as the engine wiggle test. This is when SpaceX moves the thrust nozzles slightly to make sure that the guidance hardware.
Bueno, ahí vimos como la torre de lanzamiento se retrajo.
Transporter erector tilting back.
Estamos tiempo menos 2 minutos con 55. Ya falta cada vez menos. Recuerden que este es un lanzamiento rápido. O sea, en 12 minutos con algo. O sea, en tiempo más 12 minutos con algo. Después del despegue, la cápsula se separará de Falcon 9 de la segunda etapa. Y se acoplará el día sábado a las 15:20 horario universal. Bueno, déjenme un segundito que voy a hacer un test de alertas que me informan por interno que no están funcionando. Y en efecto, no está funcionando. Muchas gracias, Fabi, de que me lo informó. Ahí hice un test. No sé si salió en directo, no presté atención. Pero ahí está. Ahora en teoría ya tendría que estar funcionando. Ahí está, ahí funciona. Sí, un pequeño error mío y otro pequeño error si lo pasaba pantalla completa. Ahora sí. Se viene el lanzamiento. A ver que tengo un mensaje en el chat. Que tengo un problemita para leerlo. Ah, sí. Buenas, Sander JK. Se viene, sí. 1 minuto con 20. La verdad que un lanzamiento muy importante este. Un minuto. Por cierto, a ver si puedo hacer algo. Se me acaba de trabar todo. Que toqué. Ahí está.
Dragon is in countdown.
Both stages are now pressurizing for launch.
LD is go for Falcon 9, CRS-25 launch.
El director de vuelo aprobó el lanzamiento, que recuerden que eso se hace en tiempo menos 45 segundos. Y ya faltan nada más que 32 segundos para el lanzamiento.
T-minus 30 seconds.
It's a beautiful time of day to watch this launch if you're out on the beach.
T-minus 15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8,
bueno, se viene.
6, 5,
5, 4,
3,
2, 1, 0. Ignition, despegue. Bien. Se me va a trancar un poquito ahora el navegador. En serio, un poquito ahora se me tranca el navegador. Tengo una mala suerte, pero bueno, despegue de Falcon 9, la primera etapa, no lo comenté, está realizando su quinto vuelo, después comento, hay un poquito de la primera etapa. Increíble imágenes del despegue. Se me acaba de trabar el OBS. Se me trabó el OBS.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Ahí está. Ahí retornamos después de un pequeño relación del OBS. Recomendación: nunca hacer ajuste mientras esté en directo. Ahí está. Ay, tengo audífonos. Esos micrófonos fueron ya. Los micrófonos están por la zona de lanzamiento. Bueno, más que micro está pasando por la mayor presión aerodinámica, mayor estrés estructural, uno de los puntos más claves del lanzamiento. O sea, vendría a ser más peligroso.
Following that will be stage separation, where the first and second stages will separate. The first stage will flip around to make sure it's headed back towards the landing site and our drone ship named A Shortfall of Gravitas. And then the second stage will ignite its Merlin vacuum engine to boost Dragon into low Earth orbit during second engine start number 1. We just heard the call out there for engine chill-in on the second stage engine starting. The last event is the boost back burn on the first stage.
Increíble esta imagen de los gases saliendo de los 9 motores Merlin 1D de Falcon 9. Increíble.
Over about 45 seconds, and again, they are main engine cutoff followed by stage separation, first stage flip, second stage engine start, and then boost back burn start. All those happening in just about 5 seconds.
Miko. Stage separation confirmed.
Bueno, separación de ambas etapas. Encendido del motor de la segunda etapa. Y por cierto, en esta misión, no lo comenté, pero se me faltó comentar mucho. La primera etapa realizará un boostback, de que ahí lo vemos, un encendido para aterrizar, o sea, por defecto si no realiza este boostback, aterriza a 640 kilómetros de la costa más o menos, pero con este boostback aterrizará a 300. Bien, ahora mientras la segunda etapa necesita llegar a 27.000 kilómetros por hora para entrar en órbita. La primera está haciendo el boostback, el encendido que dije anteriormente. Ya lo hizo en realidad, creo. Sí, ya lo hizo. Ahí vemos cómo se despliega la rejilla aerodinámica, de que ahora mismo no sirven de mucho, pero cuando entre en la atmósfera van a servir de mucho. Ahora mismo porque está fuera de la atmósfera. Y bueno, les paso a comentar la primera etapa de 1067 realizó 4 vuelos previos a esta misión. Déjenme que busco en orden y ya les comento los vuelos que realizó. Bueno, realizó un lanzamiento CRS, o sea CRS-22, lanzó la misión CRS-23, o sea misión tripulada, después lanzó CubeSat 5B a órbita geoestacionaria, bueno, de transferencia geoestacionaria, mejor dicho, y lanzó la misión CRS-24, que la misión CRS-24 es la que está actualmente en la Estación Espacial. Y ahora la cápsula de carga, la C-208, fue la que apoyó las misiones CRS-21 y CRS-23. Y ahora está apoyando CRS-25. Vendrá a ser el tercer vuelo de la cápsula Dragon.
That'll bring the vehicle speed down to 0 for a soft touchdown on the drone ship. We've got some great sunlight on the vehicle, and you're periodically seeing some.
Ahí vemos como la primera etapa entró en la atmósfera ya hace unos minutos y ya está unos pocos segundos de realizar el encendido de entrada. que sirve para que el Falcon 9 no impacte con las capas más densas de la atmósfera tan fuerte y se destroce literalmente. Este encendido lo que hace es disminuir mucho la velocidad. Vertical y horizontal. La velocidad general, en realidad. El cohete. Que ya lo vamos a ver en breves instantes. Justo ahora. Ahí está, encendido de 3 motores, Martín 1D. Miren cómo baja la velocidad en la primera etapa. Ahí donde está el mouse. Donde está el entero. Ahí está, encendido, realizado con éxito. Y ahora se viene el aterrizaje de la barcaza A Shortfall.
And that entry burn and the plume coming back on the stage ends up depositing a small layer of carbon on the vehicle, which is what gives our first stages that awesome sooty look once we've reflown them. The Falcon 9 also has 4 landing legs. They're made of carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb, placed around the base of the rocket, and they'll deploy just prior to landing during the landing burn. If we're successful in recovering this Falcon 9, it'll mark its 5th successful landing and our 130th landing overall of a Falcon 9, including Falcon Heavy missions. So landing burn coming up shortly.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Keep an eye out on the speed on the left-hand side of your screen. That's the velocity of the first stage. We're going to see that
Bueno,
come all the way down to zero.
ya vemos el
On the right-hand side
aterrizaje.
of your screen is our drone ship.
La verdad que se me pasó un poco.
Also keep an eye out
Estaba
on
con
the
el móvil,
left-hand side of your
repito.
screen is the landing leg
A
deploy.
ver si tenemos buenas imágenes. Desde la primera etapa, espectacular. Y ahora desde la barcaza. Increíble imágenes. Increíble imágenes. Lo que ha mejorado SpaceX a cubrir con tremenda calidad de imágenes los aterrizajes gracias a Starlink, su constelación de satélites de internet. Increíble lo que ha mejorado Starlink esta cobertura. Aterrizaje exitoso número 5 para esta primera etapa de 1067. Y ahora la segunda etapa está llegando a los 22.700 km por hora. Recuerden que es 27.000 km por hora para que llegue a órbita.
Second engine cutoff number 1, we'll do a quick check to make sure that the burn performance is as expected.
Stage 2 MTS.
We're in the targeted orbit. We usually hear that called out as a
Sigue el encendido, ya casi llega a órbita. Y en breves instantes apagado del motor de la segunda etapa, un Merlin 1D optimizado para el vacío. Y bueno, la Dragon está en órbita, está en órbita prevista, órbita correcta. Se estaría acoplando nuevamente respecto al horario de acoplamiento. Yo estaré en directo el día 16, este sábado, a las 15:20 hora universal. Ahí vemos algunas de las cargas que se llevan de magnetero. Desde esta misma cámara veremos la separación. Y bueno, mañana estaré subiendo al Twitter la típica plantilla que subo con la típica plantilla que subo con los horarios para distintas regiones para el acoplamiento. Y recuerden que se pueden unir a nuestro servidor de Discord, que no sé si nuestro moderador estará por ahí, pero si estás, te animo a mandarle el link del servidor.
Now, the CRS-25 capsule will be joining the Crew 4 vehicle, Capsule Freedom, which is currently on orbit, so we'll be back to dual Dragons docked at the International Space Station. CRS-25 will be headed to the forward Harmony port on Node 2. We're expecting it to arrive on the 16th around 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. There, it'll spend about 1 month attached at the International Space Station. Now, as for the cargo, today we are delivering more than 5,800 pounds of science, research, crew supplies,
aún queda la
as well as vehicle
separación
hardware to
y aún
the
queda el
orbiting lab
acoplamiento.
and its crew.
La primera etapa ya hizo
An
su
amazing
trabajo,
overviews
aterrizó
inside the truck.
exitosamente.
Now, at this
La
point,
segunda etapa
the
ahora hizo
second
su
stage
trabajo,
is
llegó a órbita
performing its
exitosamente
final checks
y
to
ahora
ensure
queda
that we're not
la
imparting any
separación
unnecessary
de la
movements
cápsula
of
Dragon, que
speed
se realizará en
to the
aproximadamente
Dragon
1
spacecraft.
minuto y medio.
Once those calculations are complete, Dragon and the second stage will command separation. And shortly following separation, Dragon will conduct a series of health checks on its thrusters, its cabin thermal and solar systems, its navigation systems, in preparation for the upcoming 38-hour mission to the space station. Got about 30 seconds to go. If you're just joining us, we're looking at the second stage. Coming up real shortly to Dragon separation. This particular Dragon marking its third flight, and it also the first third reuse of our upgraded cargo vehicle. This view looking into the trunk of the Dragon capsule. That's our unpressurized portion of the vehicle and some of the payload that we're taking up to the International Space Station.
Bueno, se viene el desacoplamiento.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Separación exitosa de la cápsula Dragon.
Phenomenal.
Increíblemente,
So with that, CRS-25 gently floating away from Falcon
la
9
primera
to the
parte del
second
lanzamiento
stage.
ha sido
Again,
exitosa.
coming up next, we've got some service section Draco checkouts, as well as nose cone opening. But that's actually going to
Como ven,
complete
se
my
encuentra a
coverage here from
201
Hawthorne.
kilómetros
So
de
I'm gonna pass
altura
it over to Sandra at
y a una velocidad de
Houston to check in with the
26.994
team
kilómetros por
there.
hora.
Sandra.
Órbita correcta
And
que
thanks, Shiva. Welcome back into the International
desde
Space Station Flight Control Room. That was a
ven,
beautiful
ahí
launch
vemos
from here
los
in
RCS.
Control, Houston.
La verdad que hace
Right now, we're
un
just
tiempazo que
standing
no
by
veía
for
los
confirmation
RCS
of
así
the
desde
nose cone
el cohete,
deployment.
apenas si se separaba, increíble.
And we did just get
Pero
confirmation that the nose
estos
cone
días,
was
antes de llegar a la
successfully
estación
deployed.
espacial,
That
estará
nose cone
realizando
does
unas
cover the
maniobras
docking
en
hardware,
órbita,
the navigation and rendezvous sensor, and the
maniobras
four
con
forward
RCS
bulkhead Dracos.
para llegar a tener ese encuentro
The
con la
nose
estación
cone
espacial.
will stay open until the end of the mission, until after deorbit burn and just prior to re-entry. If you are just
Bueno,
joining us, NASA
ahí
and
muchas
SpaceX's
gracias a
25th
nuestro
commercial
moderador
resupply
por
mission
mandar el
launched
server
from pad
de Discord
39A
de
at the
lanzamiento
Kennedy
espacial.
Space Center in Florida
Si quieren
at
se puede
7:44 p.m.
dar una vuelta
Central,
por ahí,
8:44
que siempre
p.m.
andamos
Eastern Time
comentando
this evening, and
las
is
jugadas, siempre
currently
andamos
in
como
orbit
comentando el
and heading to
lanzamiento
the
y nos
International
pueden,
Space Station.
si tienen alguna
Dragon
duda
is filled with
sobre
over
SpaceX o en
5,800
general
pounds of
cualquier
cargo
otra
and
empresa
supplies, including a
aeroespacial,
variety
nos
of
las pueden
science
dejar por ahí
investigations,
y
hardware, and
se la
fresh
respondemos.
food for the crew on station,
Se la
such
respondemos.
as apples, oranges, cherry tomatoes,
Bueno,
onions,
nuevo lanzamiento
carrot,
con éxito para
garlic,
SpaceX.
tahini, and even shelf-stable cheese. On board the International Space
Lanzamiento
Station right
número
now is the
29,
7-person
si no
Expedition
mal recuerdo,
67 crew,
de esta
who I'm
semana,
sure is looking forward to
ojalá,
these fresh foods.
de este
The
año,
crew
perdón.
includes NASA astronaut Bob Hines, European Space Agency astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti, Roscosmos cosmonauts Denis Matveev, Oleg Artemyev, and Sergei Korsakov, as well as NASA astronauts
Lanzamiento número
Jessica
19
Watkins
que lleva
and
este
Joe
año,
Lindgren.
19 no, pero estoy mal. Lanzamiento número, a ver que tengo el número oficial acá. Lanzamiento número 30 de SpaceX de este año, o sea, estaba mal. O sea, SpaceX está cerca de romper su récord de lanzamiento de un año y de hecho está cada vez más cerca de llegar a lo que se propuso, que es de lanzar 55 misiones durante el 2022. La verdad que va bastante bien.
NASA astronauts Bob Hines and Jessica Watkins will be
Bueno,
monitoring
gente,
the approach of Dragon.
Yo me voy despidiendo. Ahí vemos la cápsula Dragon, la cápsula de carga Dragon. Yo me voy despidiendo. Nos reencontraremos el sábado con el acoplamiento de esta cápsula a la Estación Espacial Internacional. Y
And the two flight engineers were
bueno,
also joined by NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren, who helped stage cargo that will be returned inside Dragon at the end of its month-long mission at the orbital lab.
Les voy a mostrar... no, falso todo. Cancelo. No tengo... Les iba a mostrar un collage que hice con las imágenes de James Webb que fueron reveladas este martes, pero no lo tengo, pero de seguro lo enseñaré en el directo del acoplamiento. Bueno, ahora sí. Ahí podemos ver abajo a la derecha donde está la Estación Espacial Internacional, que vemos que está pasando cerca de México. No alcanzo a verlo muy bien porque veo chicos aparte, pero me parece que está pasando cerca de México, por ahí por esa zona, y estará realizando el encuentro con esta cápsula, vuelvo a repetir, el día sábado. Pero bueno, ahora sí, muchas gracias a todos los que estuvieron ahí, y nos encontraremos el sábado con el acoplamiento. Vamos a dejar la repetición del lanzamiento y nos vemos en la siguiente. Adiós.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon on the 25th mission to resupply the International Space Station with cool science and a new advanced instrument to more effectively study our planet's climate.
Power and telemetry nominal.
We are 50 seconds into flight, successful liftoff from the Kennedy Space Center, Launch Complex 39A. Falcon 9 is heading towards its next major milestone, that's for the point of highest stresses that the vehicle will experience during ascent. There's the call out for maximum dynamic pressure. So from here, the stresses on the vehicle will get lower and lower as we raise our altitude. Coming up, we've got 5 events back to back. The first of those will be main engine cutoff, or MECO. That's where all 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage will shut down.
I'm back, chill.
Following that will be stage separation, where the first and second stages will separate. The first stage will flip around to make sure it's headed back towards the landing site and our drone ship named A Shortfall of Gravitas. And then the second stage will ignite its Merlin vacuum engine to boost Dragon into low Earth orbit during second engine start number 1. We just heard the call out there for engine chill-in on the second stage engine starting. The last event is the boost back burn on the first stage. That's to reduce the velocity of that vehicle as we prepare for atmospheric entry. Now, all of those events happen over about 45 seconds. And again, they are main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, first stage flip, second stage engine start, and then boost back burn start. All those happening in just about 5 seconds.
Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
Fantastic sight.
And back startup.
So the first 3 of those events are complete. And now the boost back burn is underway. The shot on our screen right now is of the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. And as this view toggles, you may catch the first stage. It is firing its Merlin 1D engines that burn on the first stage, lasting about 30 seconds. You can see the plume on the first stage on the left-hand side of your screen as we're doing the boost back burn.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
Successful shutdown of the first stage Merlin engines for the boost back burn. Second stage engine continuing to burn. That'll continue to burn until about the T+8 minute and a 40-second mark into the mission. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome to our 25th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station for our customer NASA. You're watching our 30th mission of 2022 and the 3rd Dragon flight to the International Space Station this year. We lifted off just about 4 minutes ago from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. On your screen are views of our first stage on the left-hand side of your screen with its grid fins deployed periodically, controlling its attitude to make its way back home. On the right-hand side of your screen is a shot of the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage, performing its burn. It'll continue to burn for about another 4 minutes to take Dragon up to low Earth orbit. Now, speaking of the entry sequence on the first stage, to make its way back to that drone ship, it's going to have to execute 2 more burns. The first of those is the entry burn, where we'll ignite 3 of the Merlin engines, and that helps slow down the stage as we enter the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. Following that, there will be a second burn, the landing burn, and there will only ignite a single Merlin 1D engine that'll bring the vehicle speed down to 0 for a soft touchdown on the drone ship. We've got some great sunlight on the vehicle, and you're periodically seeing some plumes of white. That's actually from our nitrogen gas thrusters that are helping to keep the first stage oriented, engines down, as we are in the vacuum of space at the moment. But once we get through that entry burn, the grid fins, which are deployed, you can see 2 of them on your screen, will then take over control as we start to get atmospheric authority. And then the first stage will only use those grid fins to steer back towards our drone ship. So entry burn expected to start about 10 seconds for now.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Just taking a quick look in, stage 2 engine performance, about nominal. Continuing to burn, we've got about 3 more minutes for that burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
You can see the velocity on the first stage, bottom left-hand side of your screen, rapidly slowing down as we fire
entry burn shutdown.
the entry burn. That burn only lasting about 15 seconds. And now we're doing a quick attitude correction to make sure we're pointing the heat shield down. And that entry burn and the plume coming back on the stage ends up depositing a small layer of carbon on the vehicle, which is what gives our first stages that awesome sooty look once we've reflown them. Now, Falcon 9 also has 4 landing legs. They're made of carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb. They're placed around the base of the rocket, and they'll deploy just prior to landing during the landing burn. If we're successful in recovering this Falcon 9, it'll mark its 5th successful landing and our 130th landing overall of a Falcon 9, including Falcon Heavy missions. So landing burn coming up shortly.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Keep an eye out on the speed on the left-hand side of your screen. That's the velocity of the first stage. We're going to see that come all the way down to 0. On the right-hand side of your screen is our drone ship. And also keep an eye out on the left-hand side of your screen for landing leg deploy.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
People real excited behind me. Right in the middle, 5th landing for this Falcon 9, 130th landing overall for an orbital class rocket. Beautiful sight to see. Now coming up next is second engine cutoff number 1, or SECO 1. We'll expect the Merlin vacuum engine to stop firing just about 30 seconds from now. It's carrying the Dragon spacecraft to its drop-off orbit around our planet. After we complete second engine cutoff number 1, we'll do a quick check to make sure that the burn performance is as expected.
Stage 2 MTS is
We're
safe.
in the targeted orbit. We usually hear that called out as a nominal orbital insertion or a good orbit call out on the loops.
And back shutdown.
So you heard a call out on the loops there for shutdown of the Merlin vacuum. There's nominal orbital insertion. So that means that the ground teams have assessed the orbit, and stage 2 is right where we want it to be. And of course, that also means that Dragon is right where we want it to be, since it's been riding on the the second stage this whole time. Now, if you're just joining us, we're about T+9 minutes, 20 seconds into the mission. On to the screen next to me is a view of the Merlin vacuum engine with Earth behind it on the second stage. Now, the second stage has one major task remaining, that is commanding separation of the Dragon spacecraft just a few minutes from now. And we're hoping to have video of separation from the top of the second stage. We actually got a quick glimpse of it before, but we've got a camera that looks up into the trunk of Dragon and gives us a little peek at some of the cargo that we're taking in that unpressurized section. You can see the emit payload there on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, the CRS-25 capsule will be joining the Crew 4 vehicle, Capsule Freedom, which is currently on orbit. So we'll be back to dual Dragons docked at the International Space Station. CRS-25 will be headed to the Forward Harmony port on Node 2. And we're expecting it to arrive on the 16th around 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. There, it'll spend about 1 month attached at the International Space Station. Now, as for the cargo, today we are delivering more than 5,800 pounds of science, research, crew supplies, as well as vehicle hardware to the orbiting lab and its crew. And amazing, more views inside the trunk. Now, at this point, the second stage is performing its final checks to ensure that we're not imparting any unnecessary momentum or spin to the Dragon spacecraft. Once those calculations are complete, Dragon and the second stage will command separation. And shortly following separation, Dragon will conduct a series of health checks on its thrusters, its cabin, thermal, and solar systems, its navigation systems, in preparation for the upcoming 38-hour mission to the space station. Got about 30 seconds to go. If you're just joining us, we're looking at the second stage. Coming up real shortly to Dragon separation. This particular Dragon marking its third flight, and also the third reuse of our upgraded cargo vehicle. This view looking into the trunk of the Dragon capsule. That's our unpressurized portion of the vehicle. That's some of the payload that we're taking up to the International Space Station.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Phenomenal. So with that, CRS-25 gently floating away from Falcon 9's second stage. Again, coming up next, we've got some service section Draco checkouts, as well as nose cone opening. But that's actually going to complete my coverage here from Hawthorne. So I'm going to pass it over to Sandra at Houston to check in with the teams there. Sandra.
And thanks, Shiva. Welcome back into the International Space Station Flight Control Room. That was a beautiful launch from here in Mission Control Houston. Right now, we're just standing by for confirmation of the nose cone deployment. And we did just get confirmation that the nose cone was successfully deployed. That nose cone does cover the docking hardware, the navigation and rendezvous sensor, and the 4 forward bulkhead Dracos. The nose cone will stay open until the end of the mission, until after deorbit burn and just prior to re-entry. If you are just joining us, NASA and SpaceX's 25th commercial resupply mission launched from Pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 7:44 p.m. Central, 8:44 p.m. Eastern Time this evening, and is currently in orbit and heading to the International Space Station. Dragon is filled with over 5,800 pounds of cargo and supplies, including a variety of science investigations, hardware, and fresh food for the crew on station, such as apples, oranges, cherry tomatoes, onions, carrot, garlic, tahini, and even shelf-stable cheese. On board the International Space Station right now is the 7-person Expedition 67 crew, who I'm sure